Yay!
One monitor. I love it. I can see everybody at once. Yay.
Hi.
Hi. And we are halfway into this whole series. So how's everybody doing?
Good.
Okay.
Are you
Good.
applying Chinese medicine into your daily lives?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice. We're gonna start with the warm up as usual, but do you have any questions before we start? Anything? Nope. Oh,
Nope.
and I heard about the patchy tongue coating, right? Melvin, you were mentioning about it the other day, and I
What?
just saw something that it's one of the
Geographic.
yeah, the geographic, yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So I just heard about it as it might be the part of it can be the symptoms of COVID, but it's Chinese medicine
Not
point of
what I
view.
wanted to hear.
Yeah, I'm like, and they have, but it's just they don't know why they're doing it. They don't know how that's related to the virus. So it could be from Chinese medicine point of view. It's a symptom that could be anything. It could be, but it's mainly it's like you're losing your yin
Oh.
compared to your yang. So that's the only indication for Chinese medicine when you're having the geographic tongue. So
What are you talking about?
there the geographic tongue. So there's if you look at the tongue, it's missing the patches of the coating.
Oh, I see.
Go on Google and search that. But I went to see a specialist. He's in the dental field, oral surgeon kind of thing. And he told me not to worry about this kind of stuff. It's just gonna come and go, kind of things like that.
Yeah.
And he really played it down.
Like, it shows the imbalance, but we're not perfectly balanced always.
Yeah,
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it just what you see is it's the manifestation of whatever happening in your body. So so I think it's always good to check with your doctor, but it's also it shows whatever the imbalance you have. So don't eat hot food or greasy stuff or like spicy food.
I don't know how that thing came upon, but yeah, it just doesn't look really nice. It doesn't look good.
No.
But it's not rare. It's not really uncommon.
Okay, is it getting better?
Yeah, it actually cleared up.
Okay, well that's.
What was it from? I don't know. And you tell me the yen and how can I balance it if I?
Sometimes like when you're dehydrated or if your stomach is not functioning properly, because which normally what we all have, your stomach gets little, they don't like when it's like, is it too hot food, too much of this getting cool, and between the seasons, who knows, but good thing is that it's improving, so we're always doing this, right? So.
Yes.
And I'm gonna talk about a little bit later, if we have time, talk about like food and fruits and vegetables, and we talk about like energetic properties of the food to just kind of give you some idea what's cooling and what's warming and what's this and that.
Okay.
So how last week we saw the channel pathway of the 12 meridians, which is called the primary meridians. And I had some questions about, are they bilateral? The primary meridians are bilateral, but there are some meridians which runs straight in the middle. They are, you know, one single meridian, but I'm not going to go into much about it. Just know the kind of have idea about the 12 primary meridians. And as you could have seen in those pictures, they all run through, well, I think 6 runs through your wrist and arms, and the other 6 runs your ankles and your feet, right? So, and in the major joints like wrist, elbows, shoulders, or ankles and knees and your hips are the good points. They are some of them are a very significant, has a significant effect on the proximal side of the you know, the other side of the channel. And I am checking the chat to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, thank you for sending the YouTube link.
Is it all of it? All
Okay, so a lot of wrist, the channels that runs the wrist is connected to your neck and shoulders and your spine, and a lot of stuff on the ankle joints runs around your hip area, your lower back, or sometimes all the way up to your neck, head. So if you have any issues with like the middle part of your body, you could kind of address it by moving your ankles and your, these are wrist and ankles. So let's just start with ankle and wrist circles today. So I am going to, so step back a little so you're not going to kick anything when you lift your leg up. Okay. And if you need to put your foot up, go ahead and do that. But I just want to just start moving those. All right. Let's start with your feet. Okay. Let's get one foot up. It doesn't have to be really high. It just lift it off the floor. And let's do 10 each, okay? Just big circle. But if it's too stiff, just let it go naturally. Don't make it, don't force it. Start small. Keep doing the circles.
Can't see your feet. When it's down there.
Circle the other way.
Okay.
You don't have to go too high. I'm just doing
Okay.
it so you can see my feet. Okay, and down. Switch to the other side. Boop. Better. Okay. Nice circles. Circle the other way. Okay, so 10 and 10. Let's do your wrist. You don't have to go too high. If it's too much for your shoulders, you don't have to do it. Like you could just do it here, right? So your wrist, out, in, 10 times. 4, circle at your wrist. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the important things with the ankle and wrist circles are that you're isolating at the wrist or the ankle. So you don't want to do a lot of movement on the other part of other joints, right? So make sure it's not the arm circles, but it's the wrist circles. Okay. So let me adjust. Okay. Now we're gonna start with the breathing. So think of that lungs, and think about the diaphragm. When you breathe in, diaphragm goes down, so your tummies go out, but don't stick your tummy out, but think about letting the diaphragm go down, expand, and breathe out. 2 more. Breathe in slowly through your nose. If you can, breathe out. 1 more. Breathe in. Now lift your shoulders up. Let's do shoulder circles. Back and down, forward. 2, 3, 4, 5. Go back, up, and forward. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do push and pull. Push. So you're crunching your chest, and pull. You're squeezing your shoulder blades together. Push forward, using your chest. Back, using your back. 1 more each way. Push and pull. Okay, and relax. Okay. I think that's good. So try kind of add that little movement in the distal part of the body and see if that makes any difference in your neck and shoulders, maybe your back. So those are a good way to activate the channel by actually touching where, if you have back issues, try doing the ankle circles and see if that makes your back feel a little better. Okay. Ooh, we have more people. Cool. All right. So today I want to talk about since we are going to practice Qigong, I wanted to continue talking about the 5 major organs, and also they have each of the major yin organs, which is heart, lungs, spleen, kidney, and liver. They have the spirit. They have they have their own stuff. So I want to talk about that. So we already talked about the 5 different emotions that affect each organs, but this is separate from, somewhat related, but separate from the emotions that affects those organs. And I am going to share. I'm going to go into into the slideshow. Hey, there. Okay. I'm sharing. Okay. Share. Okay. Mhm. Okay, spirits of 5 organs. So, and again, feel free to unmute yourself and speak up if you have any questions. I'm going to try to get everybody on here. Good. Okay, so first we're just going to go into each organs and stop me if I'm going too fast. Okay. Heart is its spirit is called Shen, which means mostly closely related to mind. And Shen also, I think it's the character Shen is also means God too, but in this case, it's more like a mind. It is in charge of mental activity, consciousness, memory, and thinking, and also sleep. So when you have insomnia, often case it's the heart issue. But in here, when you see your Chinese medicine doctor, they sometimes tell you, oh, your heart blood is deficient or your kidney yin is deficient. That doesn't mean, I mean, it sounds really scary. It could be scary, but it's not like your heart is failing or anything. So it's, think of a function. So when your heart blood is deficient, it affects, sometimes you're going to have palpitations, sometimes you have some anxiety issues, or it affects your sleep. But don't think it as the organ heart is, you know, it's more, think of as a function. So don't feel like, oh, my kidneys are failing or heart is something wrong with my heart. I mean, yes, it is, but not, you know, it's the function. So it's all about the imbalance. So the heart Shen, and that's what they do. Spleen is the intellect. So it's capacity of thinking, studying, and concentration. So it's more to do with, it's like studying, memorization, like ability to memorize stuff when you're studying. So that's what spleen is in charge of. It's the intellect. And the lung and liver has kind of, it's kind of hard to comprehend. I think it has like really deeper meaning. But the po is the means corporeal soul, and it's in charge of all physical process. So lung and body is and closely related, and they were saying the po, the lung spirit, dies with the body. So whatever the physical process and change, development, the lungs in charge of it. So, and kidney is zhi, is means willpower, and it's something to do with determination. So actually the Chinese character of yi and zhi both kind of means determination and the willpower. So they kind of work together. And it's kind of like opposite relationship with Po, the lung, corporeal soul. The liver is Hun or Hun. I don't know how to like exactly. If you speak Chinese, correct me. It's the Hun. And the ethereal soul. So, and it's about life dreams and vision and creativity. So, and the Hun don't die when our body, so it doesn't die with the body. So when the body is done, Hun goes back to the air. So the Hun and Po is kind of like the opposite, or yeah, the opposite of each other. And everything else, Shen is about our daily kind of mind activities. Spleen is about studying, And with the willpower, we get the motivation. And of course, life dreams helps vision and creativity. So, and the memory. So so there are different kind of memories, right? So the memorization types of memories to the long-term memories and the short-term memory. And they are, let me see this one, right? So the memorization, so memorizing stuff, again, you could see is the spleen. The long-term memory is the heart, and the short-term memory is the kidney. And again, I have mentioned like aging issues are a lot to do with the kidney. So if the kidney is deficient or it needs a little help, how short-term memory is the dementia related memory issues, right? So that kind of makes sense that kidney is related to the short-term memory. Okay. Now, how is that? Any questions?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Um, Again, this friend of mine is thinking of giving away a kidney. And when she gets older, you said before that one will do it, but is there a consideration when she's older and in terms of her memory or anything, if she only has one kidney?
I don't think it affects, but biomedicine wise, I mean, it is, I think there's a reason why we have two kidneys because one failed, used to have another one. So that's the, that's the risk. But again, we know that, but we want to give, it's our decision to make whether, if I mean, you can save people's life by giving one
Yeah.
kidney.
Yeah.
And so that's the risk.
I just wondered about the short-term memory. And on the other hand, for my own self,
Mm-hmm.
What can I do anything for my kidneys to help my short-term memory?
Maybe Joe can maybe help us with during our qigong section, because there's the warming kidney part. You can always consult your if you know anybody who practice Chinese medicine, they could help you balance your kidney. So again, the physical anatomical kidney is different from the Chinese medicine kidney. So you could have total, you can give one kidney away and it may not affect the the memories. And also the gallbladder, it's not on here, but gallbladder got a lot to do with helping liver making decisions. But if a lot of people have their gallstone, and sometimes they need to remove the gallbladder, and that doesn't really affect the decision making. It may not. So again, it's the function of the organs, and remember those names of the organs came before we found out there's actual organs in our body. So we just kind of matched it. So it's more of a function than the actual anatomical.
Uh,
I
thank
have
you.
I had my gallbladder out,
Uh-huh.
and I will tell you that when it was malfunctioning,
Mhm.
it did affect my thinking.
Mhm.
And when it was out, I felt much better. I mean, that could be any malfunctioning,
True.
thing, but it was really kind of remarkable.
That's
Yeah. So
very interesting.
yeah.
And also a lot of malfunctioning in maybe I'm talking too much about like getting into too much into it, but you know how did I mention phlegm and dampness as a pathology? So the phlegm phlegm is a lot to do with tumor and the functioning and the the gallbladder, gallstones, any kind of, you know, the solid matter got could be caused by the phlegm. And the phlegm also can, with the heat, it can kind of boil and have kind of foggy stuff up because the mist and the heat goes up, right? So it kind of mists your mind too. So in a way, the phlegm and the dampness can affect your mind, affect your thinking. So in that sense, that's how it was affecting your thinking too. But
Well,
that's
yeah, I've
yeah.
had, I was, you know, inherited allergies from my grandpa.
Mhm.
And I can tell you that whenever I had them really bad, I mean, that was just like my IQ would drop.
Right,
You know,
right.
just literally. And it was like, uh,
Right.
uh, you know, but it's sort of like, you know, sometimes you get a cold and you just feel stupid. You know,
Yeah.
you can't get your way out of a paper bag. So that's true.
Yeah. And you know, it's like when you have the sinus infection, it affects your thinking, affects your head. It's like gives you a headache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have, so I kind of have sort of born with permanent phlegm.
Mm-hmm.
Although I must say I did take allergy shots 2 different times and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like almost 100% better. I mean, so
Wow.
that's,
Mm-hmm.
but if you do have phlegm, I mean, how do you deal with it? So that's,
Well,
I don't know.
there are phlegm causing food,
Right.
and there are uh, phlegm reducing food, and they, you know, they are in
Oh,
if you are interested in reading
uh,
about it, there are, I mean, this talks about a lot of energetics and stuff, but the dairy products, it causes the phlegm. So I mean, that kind of, again, that makes sense with the biomedicine too, right? Because when you're having cold, you know, doctors recommend not to take any dairy products,
yes.
stuff like that.
No, yeah.
Yeah. And um light exercise is always, you know, it helps chi to move, so it helps alleviate any of the congestion or stagnation or stasis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Any other questions? No. Okay, hold on, let me make sure I'm not missing any chat. Name of the book about food helping with the book the book that I just, this is one of the a book that I have, and this is the Tao of Nutrition, and I think it's in the list that that you probably receive email with the book list. So this is one of the simple, I think it's simple, and in the beginning they talk kind of in depth into Chinese medicine stuff, organs and bodies, 5 elements. So I think right now, if you read it, I think it might probably make a little more sense. And the 5 different tastes, and they talk about the cause of disease. So this is, it's not really, I think it's easy read. And then in the food, they talk about each food from like A to like alfalfa, artichokes. I think it's alphabetized, carrots and chards. So they go into like different fruits and vegetables and grain, beans, like teas and condiments. Oh, okay. You didn't receive it. I will. You can email me, or I think Jen has the list of 3 books
Set it
that
up.
I talked about, and the other one that Jill talked about. So, and they also have a little the what do you call it, recipes, but I think some of the recipes are like, where do you get this food? So some of the stuff is like, I'm not gonna make this, but I think it's interesting. So since we are already talking about the food, I'm gonna go over, well, I want to go over the, sure, maybe we only get the book list we have. Oh, okay. So if you haven't gotten the list, email me. Everybody has my, okay.
And I sent it out to a number of people as well, because that was a couple of the names were misspelled. So they can share too and email me as well, Akiyo.
Okay, cool.
I'll be happy to share.
All right. So it is I just wanted to give you some ideas of different vegetables and fruits, and some of them are, they're going from cold, cool, neutral, warm, and hot. So if you tend to have certain food a lot more, it might make sense. Oh, no wonder I'm cold, or no wonder I'm a little dried. So again, the warming food are good to eat, of course, but if you have too much warming food, it can be drying too, because you don't want to, if you are warming too much. So the cooling is not always the bad things, because some of the cooling stuff can generate the fluid, so it is moistening. Like Asian pear is cool in nature, but it's moistening to your lungs, so it's a good lung moistening food. So is there any vegetables you want to know? Let's say like if you look at the cabbage, so Chinese cabbage compared to regular cabbage, so Chinese cabbage is cold, regular cabbage is no, cool. So the regular cabbage is warmer than the Chinese cabbage, the Chinese cabbage that they use for kimchi. So they're colder or cooler than the regular cabbage, for example. The chard is neutral, and sweet potato is neutral, lettuce is neutral. Let's say the warm one, bell pepper is warm, kind of makes sense. Chinese chives, they're warmer because I think they're a little more spicier than other vegetables. And kale, leek, mustard green, those dark green vegetables are warmer. And the hot is, of course, garlic and scallion. So that kind of makes sense. Like it's spicier, or the stronger taste they have, tend to be hotter. So, and the fruits. The fruit section. So this is in the very back section of this book. So it's kind of fun to, I just kind of look at it and goes like, oh, no wonder my tummy didn't like this, or, this and that. So I'm going to go over like common stuff. So banana, cantaloupe, and grapefruit, they're cold, the coolest. And little warmer, but still cool. So cold and cool. So apple is cool. Apricot, avocado is cool, which I didn't know. Lime's orange is cool. But interestingly, tangerine, I think is, yeah. So the orange is cool, but tangerine is warm. So that kind of makes sense. Because when it's like the Chinese New Year time is like we all eat the tangerines, right? Because it's the winter and it's warm. So not just because it's a citrus, it's not always the same temperature. Because grapefruit is the coldest, and the orange is a little warmer, and the tangerine is warm. And the cherries and cherry is warm. Blueberry and cherry, so it's like the little ones tend to be warmer, like grapes are warm. And the grain, I don't know if you are familiar with different grains like amaranth and quinoa and spelt. But quinoa is warm. And I think whatever the grain that we're most familiar with is rice, right? Brown rice is neutral. And barley and white rice is cool. So white rice and brown rice is just the same thing with outer thing, and it's peeled versus non-peeled. So if it's peeled, it's cool. And if unpeeled, brown rice is neutral. And the wheat, barley, the barley's also I think it's good for edema. So in the summertime when you're like feeling puffy, that's those are good thing to eat. But it may not help in the wintertime when you're really cold. But also when you're eating barley, the cooking or frying, a dry frying any cool grain slightly change the energetics, so it makes it warmer. That makes sense. And the warm grains are amaranth, oats, quinoa, spelt, sweet rice. I think it's the the sticky rice that they make mochi out of. And seeds and beans. A lot of beans.
This way. Oh,
So mung beans are the cool. The cold seeds that we know are the pumpkin seeds are cold. The hot or warmer beans are pecan, pine nut. It's interesting. Pine nut is warming and pumpkin seeds are cooling. And the walnut is warm. And the walnut is used as a Chinese medicine. You know how it looks like brain, and they're saying it benefits the brain.
oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And the neutral, which when in doubt, eat the neutral stuff. Almond is neutral. Black sesame seed is neutral. Kidney beans neutral. Peanuts neutral. Sunflower seed is neutral. Okay, out of the seeds. Okay, so the pumpkin is cold. Sunflower is neutral, and the pine nut is warm. The meat, animal products. So pork is the coolest. Lamb is hot. It's hotter than beef. Beef is in the warm section. So beef, shrimp, they are warm, which is interesting. Normally the seafood are cooler in nature because they come from the water normally. But he's saying the shrimp is warmer. And the neutral is dairy products, fish, oyster, goat's milk is warm.
Wait a minute.
But the other dairy product, which is cow milk, is neutral. Hi. And let's see, herbs, they are kind of, they're not really common ones. Tea. Green tea is cooling. And I looked, but I think the black tea is warming, but it doesn't show in this book. But I think by fermenting it changes the nature. So the green tea, which is the freshest form of the tea, the green tea and the black tea into like the oolong, like Chinese teas are most fermented, but I will look up. It doesn't show in this book, but I think it's by the fermentation stages. It has a different temperature. And coffee. I thought coffee was cooling, but it says coffee is warm. So green tea cold, coffee warm, and that's it. Any food items you want to know?
How about chicken?
Chicken is, I think it's the warming. Hold on. Thought I saw it. Let's see. Yeah, warming. So beef, chicken, fish, shrimp, turkey is warm. But it depends on the books too. I think chicken is either neutral. I read somewhere the chicken was neutral, but in this one it says it's warm. And I thought mostly again fish and the seafood are cool, but I guess it's not. So the fish, beef, chicken, fish, according to this book, is warm. Lamb is hot, and the cold is pork. So and the Japanese dish, there's the pork and ginger dish, so that kind of makes sense because it neutralized the coolness of the pork and add the hot ginger, and a really good combination. So, and the lamb, when it's really cold, it's good to have the hot food, right? So don't eat, if you eat lamb, don't eat in the summertime when it's really hot and humid and you're like if you feel like a little puffy, hot, sweating, lamb may not be a good thing to eat. Okay. Any other food items?
How about tofu?
Tofu is, I think it's cool because where's the bean part? Yeah. So the soybeans are cold. So tofu also is cold.
Mm.
Yeah. So maybe put, like, if you want to eat tofu, make miso soup or put it in a soup. Is chicken warm? Yes, chicken is warm. The barley tea, yes, the barley. Japanese drinks barley tea in the summertime. And barley is cooling, I think. Yeah, it is cooling.
So Akiyo.
Yeah.
So the understanding behind this being hot, cold, cool, neutral, it's the type of food that's going to make us feel internally, regardless how we eat it, if you're going to eat it cold or hot.
Yes, that's exactly. So if you cook it, so if you have a cooked pork versus cooked lamb, they're both, it could be in the physical temperature can be the same, but the pork can be cooling, has a cooling effect done. So, and the lamb has the warming effect. That makes sense?
Okay, that's quite interesting.
So
Yeah.
the temperature and the energetic temperatures are different. So the I think the mung beans, mung beans, that I think Koreans eat mung beans in the summertime because it's good for, again, is to promote urination. So it's it reduces the edema. So it's good to eat in the summertime. Whether it's warm, eaten warm or eaten cool, it has a cooling effect.
Okay. Oh,
What other things are reduce are cooling and reduce?
Edema.
Yeah.
The mung beans and azuki beans, like Japanese, like a reddish, like the red beans. They are they're known for promoting urination to reduce edema. I think those two are the major beans. Okay. So this is kind of interesting.
Mhm.
But again, those are good to not one thing. It's all about the balance, right? So don't think because I am cold, I'm just gonna eat the bunch of hot food. So don't do that. Always make sure that you are eating. So when you're cold, you may not want to eat like watermelon in the winter time, right? But it's okay to occasionally have the cooler property food, but make sure that you're balancing it with the, across the different temperatures. So maybe not too much really hot in the hot day and really, really cool in the cold day.
Akiyo,
Balance.
do they
Yes.
mention pastas or breads?
I think those are like, it depends on the what kind of flour they use, right? So the wheat is cooling. So the wheat, the bread, pasta, they're all wheat, right? So they're cool. And spelt is also part of the spelt is also wheat family, but the spelt is warm. So I know there's some places use spelt flour to bake bread, but the spelt is warm, quinoa is warm, oats is warm. So, but the wheat bran and wheat germ is warm, but the wheat as is cool. So, and the rye is neutral. So the rye bread, I'm sure rye bread uses the wheat, so they mix in rye flour into the wheat. But so energetically, it's a little more warmer than like 100% wheat bread. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Akiyo,
Yes.
what about dairy? It seems like it's sort of excluded altogether from Chinese diet, right?
Not really. Dairy product is neutral.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So the dairy product, which is cow's milk, they're neutral, but the goat's milk is warm. So goat's milk is warmer than cow milk, but the cow milk is just right in the middle, neutral.
Thanks.
Can I throw this out, Akil?
Sure.
I was told one time, this was at work and things like that. Then I mixed tofu and spinach into a soup, and I was told by someone from the Chinese background saying that, oh, that completely doesn't go together.
Really?
You neutralize the benefits or
Oh.
of some sort, or the chi or something about that. I wonder if you or anybody on this panel, this group, that knows anything about that.
Not me, but I can look into it. That is really interesting. Spinach. That's gonna be my homework unless somebody already know the answer. Let me write it.
Yeah, Bianca just commented that somebody also told her about that too.
Really?
But
yeah,
I'm gonna search that.
I know.
There is a philosophy sometimes that if you separate your food and just eat like just the vegetable and then eat the next one, it gives your body time to absorb, you know. But there's different theories out there.
Okay.
I think maybe it's like chemically also. Maybe it's more of a biomedicine stuff because spinach has the
Not bugs.
whatever the acid thing that reacts with tofu's, So I'll look it up. It's gonna be my problem. Okay. Any other questions? Anything about the spirits?
No, but all this talk about food is making me hungry. Just kidding.
Actually, if you really want that answer, I just Googled it. And it says, it is said that tofu cannot be eaten together with spinach at the same time, as tofu and spinach contain calcium and oxalic acid respectively. The combination of the two will form kidney stones. But in fact, only prolonged and voluminous consumption of tofu and spinach at the same, it would only, you'd have to eat mounds of it. So
yeah, true.
But that's the reason why.
That totally makes sense. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, now your homework's done.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody did my homework.
Thank you.
So I think if you're prone to, you already have a kidney stone or the gallstone. No, kidney stone is mainly calcium, right? So if you already have a kidney stone or you're prone to have, if you're a stony person, then you shouldn't add that to your diet, right? Or like in moderate. So.
Okay. Wow. Thank you.
That's great.
Now I fully understand.
Yes. So, used to make tofu and spinach soup. After that, we make seaweed and tofu instead. Huh, okay.
Fantastic. What a great combination.
Yes. Everything in moderation. So don't just always eat spinach and tofu. Okay, let's take 3-minute break, and Jill is gonna lead the qigong. Oh, before, I'm sorry, I wanted to talk about the qigong character. Sorry. So don't go into the don't go away yet.
Not going to the break room yet.
No, not in the break room yet. Okay. All right. The qigong. Okay. So, why is it not doing? Okay. Qigong that's qi, like what we already know is the qi that circulates our body. The gong, this means deed or merit or achievement. So that's what the qigong means. So I just wanted to share that. That was like a little. So it's the achievement of merit or the work that you do with the qi. So that's qigong. Okay, that's all I wanted to show you. Okay, break.
I'm surprised it didn't say anything about energy.
So the qi is the energy. Right? Yeah.
So they didn't elaborate on that.
So qi already kind of explains what what it is. Yeah. So the work you do with qi. Okay, so 5:02, be back at 5:05. Get some water.
Class. I think I've known Akiyo for almost 15 years.
Wow.
And I've been able to witness her journey. And I'm so excited to be here with her. So like Akiyo, when I came to the center about 21 years ago, I came with another degree, and I did Institute of Healing in Colorado and studied there for about 3 to 4 years. And that practice was not based in acupuncture or massage, but rather focused on the breath and other modalities, drawing very strongly from the Himalayan Breath Institute. So Qigong is an ancient form of exercise for longevity. It is not only physical exercise, but also the philosophy and scientifically rooted. The physical Qigong can stimulate the qi, the blood circulation, improve the body's integral balance, and vitalize a person's mind and body. In the philosophical parts of the terms of Qigong movements, which literally means moving qi, was created revolving around a theory from a Taoist Chinese theory. Actually, the origins are the Yellow Emperor. So this particular Dian Qigong is 1700 years old, and it was consists of what I do is the Dian, which means wild goose, and it's based on balance on the 5 elements that work with the 12 meridians, 365 acupressure points, includes movements, meditations, and medical theories. It's one of the safest, most complete, most effective Qigong practices in China. So for your information, there are 600 different forms of Qigong. And because it was such a sacred practice, it really didn't hit the United States until the 70s. It was passed down from, I'm sorry? It's passed down from master to student. So it is the foundation for all of your
Sorry, Jill, sorry for interruption. Hope you're being shared screen. So can you unshare? And also, Jan, can you pin Jill? Or can you?
Yep, I'll get her.
Okay.
Am I still sharing
Except
screen?
I can't move my screen because Hope's got her screen up.
Am I still sharing screen?
Yeah, it's still
Really?
up, Hope.
Yeah, that's so while you're figuring that out, let me just finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
In today's generation, you know, everything has to be scientifically proven. And when the Grandmaster came to the United States, she worked with a number of scientists and researchers. And she was able to demonstrate that how she moved her, she cultivated it and moved it. So this is a very safe practice. The couple of little advice I have for anyone who are joining for the very first time today, many of you know me, but have never had the opportunity to join me. You are the holder of the wisdom of your own body. Please value that. Know that if you are moving and it does not feel like your range, I'm going a little deeper, honor where you are at. You should never, ever push yourself beyond. Think about Qigong as water. So my most challenging students, because I started with Tai Chi, is the Tai Chi. So this is soft. It is, the practice begins with the warm up, stretches, exercise, and then actually a Qigong massage. So we will demonstrate, I will with I have a couple of students on board. We'll go all over the main organs that we talked about today. And I always feel like the best practice is just to be playful. The silver lining of doing it in this box of Zoom, no one's watching you. Enjoy the practice. If you want to sit and just move your arms and hands or simply watch, please feel free to do that. So we've been sitting for a while, and one of the best Qigong exercises is where you do that slow rotation with your feet, because we want to use our strength and our balance. So we've all been sitting for a little bit. all of my classes begin this way by moving your feet. I want you to just take a little stretch out, start to move your body. Make sure you've drank some water. And when you stand up, don't move your feet. The practice is to be able to see where you're going to be. Stand up slow, don't move your feet, and start to stretch. Unless there's an emergency, there is no reason for us to rush. So take your time. I'm going to move my chair back. I think you can see me. I'm going to move back into my space. Welcome to my space. I've been practicing here since March. So claim the space that you're in. As you place your feet underneath your hips, start to sink down in. And by that, I mean, feel your hips, feel that the alignment of your feet, start to transfer the weight, feel the outsides of your toes, your heels. Give a little stretch here. I do this to claim my space, make sure that when I stretch, I have all the space I need. And the very center part of Qigong, and this is true in all the 600 forms, is called the horse. So my feet are soft. My knees are not bent, but soft. My tailbone is tucked in, which helps to straighten my spine. My wings are starting to open. I'm rolling my shoulders to get those wings open. You tuck in your chin, and the reason we're doing that is the back of your spine, the end of it is at the back of your head. So instead of standing like this, we're going to bring it back. And even if you're sitting, you can go into the horse position. One thing you can't see is that the tip of my tongue is moved from the top palate that connects the orbit of Qi. And my eyes are soft. And what I mean by that is if you were to take your hands up, look at your fingertips, and as you slowly open your arms, look forward, and right before you lose your hands, that's soft eyes. Another staple of Qigong is called swing arms. Swing arms moves all of your back. It can start very slowly. I have to actually do a little bounce to get my arms moving. But once you start, you can get that soft, relaxed feeling. So do things less, not more. Then shaking. Oddly enough, shaking your body releases all the muscles. So if I've been standing for a while, or if I'm intent on an activity, if I just give my body a little shake, I can relax all of the muscles. Now we're going to wake up all those meridians and channels. What I use, and this is how you can tell you're doing Qigong, I'm using this soft hand. It's scooped. Fingers are open, as if I'm holding liquid Qi. Start by giving those little love taps at the lower dantian. Where your legs connect your torso is the lymphatic system. If I go over to the sides, I'm going to bend down to get there. I'm going to go all the way down, cross over, and come up. This part is waking up your body, bringing the Qi to the surface, activating all the points, relaxing the muscles. Good. I'm going to take another form. It's we call it empty fist. My fists are soft and they're soft. And I start at tailbone. So massage a tailbone. Come on up to kidneys. If you encounter an area of your body where it's a little tender, rather than leave it alone, be more gentle and keep massaging. Right here on my hand is a point called Hegu. It releases endorphins. Start tapping at the spark of life. We talked about this in Akiyo's class. Your belly button is still here. Across from it is Ming Men. When we tap on this, it will give you a little bit of energy. So I'm tapping up and down. Take the flat of your hand, gently pat all the way down. Bend to get there again, cross over. I take those empty fists and I tap on the hips. Back to lower dantian. Middle dantian is on my heart center. Don't collapse your wings, keep them up. Cross over, and you're going for both of the collarbones. We're activating the lungs. Come up to the top part of your shoulder, open your palm, tap all the way down to your fingertips. Roll over. Your motion comes not from your wrist, but now we have wings. So the rotation of your arms comes from your shoulders. Tap across, come on down. So for us in the evening, as the sun sets and we've been up, we may notice that our hands back to middle dantian, upper dantian is just here. So at this moment, you should be feeling, how do your feet feel? How do your hands feel? Rotate up. And one of the very first movements that we do is called the triple burner. So it is that layer of protection. Rise up to the heavens, palms face you as you drop your shoulders and sink. Your inhale just seems to be natural. This is the moment where you are quieting your mind, strengthening your heart, nourishing your body. This also will help you get to the right temperature. Qigong is all about bringing your body into that moment of homeostasis, which we know only lasts for a moment. This is also called the bone marrow wash. Make sure that we're sturdy in our bones. Opposite movement is called Buddha picks up the earth. So gather the earth from the palms of your hands. When you get to your heart, rotate, send the earth off, and again, sink down quietly. Find your rhythm. Find your inhale. Perfect. When we pause, we simply gather the chi and we sink it down. So I'm going to do some elements, some brocades, and a little bit of the movement of Qigong. The first one is liver. I'm going to come a little closer. I'm going to be at an angle so you can kind of see. Sit comfortably on your horse. Palms are open. Gather that empty fist and draw them into lower dantian. It's always a stretch. Stretch forward, lay your palm down, gather the chi, and bring it in. For us in Qigong, this is about liver. This is about pulling in compassion. It's also the seat of sometimes emotions. So whatever lives in your body, we know emotions live in our body. This is your moment to release and to pull in soft green compassion. Perfect. Let's do one more on this side, one more on that side. Good. I want to do a stretch. It's a step out of your horse. Look at your bottom palm, rise up, look forward as you let your palm just fall forward. Let your hands go to the heaven and put your hand back. Let's go the other way. This is a big stretch, so be gentle. One more. This side. Nice. One more on this side. Good. Step back into the horse and do a swing. We have a variety of swings that we can do. Find the one that feels comfortable. You can do palms down. You can do palm up. You can alternate them. You can make it look like you're running, but it will move your whole back and come slowly down. The other thing I want to do is I want to keep opening up this area. So I'm throwing my shoulders so that my arms are sort of floppy and I can touch lightly at the top of my shoulders. Tap lightly at your collarbone. Dao Bao is a place where it's strength and balance. Right here, it's right above your rib cage. Tap lightly at lower dantian. And if you bend down, you can tap lightly at the tops of your thighs. Come over here for Wan Chao. Wan Chao is a deep acupressure point. Again, with that soft hand. Again, back to the tailbone, up to the kidneys. So let's do a little work on the lungs. The element lung is in the horse position. Throw your hands up, which makes it easy to take that breath in. Sink down. My imagination is that my hands are behind my lungs. Stretch out. Bring your feet together and close. Lungs. Nice breath. Sink into your rhythm. Enjoy that deep breath. This is the element. For us, we're pulling in courage and white silver light. Even for someone like me who teaches breath, I find it difficult sometimes or notice that I'm holding my breath. If I do this, I can take that nice deep breath. Last one. Great. Bring it in. Go back to the horse. This little guy, I'm not really even moving my hips, but I'm activating both kidneys, liver, and spleen. When I used to go to the park, I would see people do this for a long period of time. It has a lot of benefits, so easy to do. Slow it down. Good. We're going to work on stomach and spleen. There's two exercises. I kind of like them both, so we'll do both. The first one is to bring your palms facing each other, sink down in your horse, and as it's kind of like two ships passing in the night. One palm goes up. As you stretch at the last moment, bring that top hand over the byway, your head, and sink down. When we're working on the elements, brocades, or any of the movements, first couple of ones seem a little stiff. But as you sink into your breath, you'll find that you can allow the movement to flow. Let's do one more on each side. Last one here. Nice. Drop hands, gather that, and sink it down. We'll do that maybe one more time. Just gather it up. Sink it down. Another variation of stomach and spleen is to have one hand that is below your ear, above your shoulder. The other one is right at Dao Bao. Again, sink down, and as you take that breath, do a nice stretch. Let your hands come to the neutral spot, bring them in, and reverse. So this is giving chi and energy, allowing all the movements of not only the blood, the breath, but the chi that we're cultivating. Nice. One more. Good. Drop both hands, gather it up, sink it down, and try your swing again. Swing is a great way to release the tension. I want to move into the heart. This is an element. So bring your hands together, little fingers are touching, and you're right at the heart center. I'm going to turn sideways. Bring your hands up, look up at the ceiling, pass your hands without touching your face over your face. When you get to your chin, hands back to back, bend down, push apart, and close.
You're doing good.
Heart. See if you can find a nice soft movement here. When your hands are back to back, you're going right down that heart meridian, gathering it and placing it into your body. Last one. Nice. Gather that, step back into your horse, and enjoy the triple burner. We were talking about water in our group, and in Akiyo's class, we were talking about the length and the longness of the meridian of water. So there's 2 waters. I'm going to do the brocade. The brocade starts by putting Hegu into LWAW, sliding down your kidneys, follow the pathway down your legs, bend to get there again, cross over on the inside, and when you come up to waist, cross hands and welcome heaven water. Here we go, water. One more. Nice. Gather water and sink it down. In the middle of the elements is a movement called earth. I'm going to turn my back to you because I feel like it works a little bit better. Earth is, I'm holding it like a platter. I'm in the horse position. My other hand is on the platter. I'm just pointing to that pad of hand. It's all done at middle dantian. Circle about. Leave your palm where it is, the palm down. Bend forward. Gather earth. Sink down and close. We're going to do this a couple of times. This is not a thinking one. It's a doing. Reminds us that earth is safe to be connected to. Great. Gather it up. Sink it down. I want to work a little bit on kidneys. I'm going to take Hegu again. I'm going to place it at Ming Men. I'm still in the horse position. This hand rises up, opens your fingers and scoops up an ocean of cool blue. When you're 45 degrees, rotate your palm and trace the outside of this cool blue water. Calming water. Again, find your rhythm. I truly believe that It's not necessarily a group of Qigong practitioners, but rather discovering your own Qigong. Let this hand rise all the way up. It will replace the hand behind and drop. Perfect. Drop both hands, gather it, and sink it down. Sometimes at the end of the day, we're not done and we need more energy. This one is called Stroke the Beard. It builds the chi from earth. It starts with your hands going back to back. Let them rise up the center. When they get to your heart, open your wingtips. Place the tips of your fingers at your chin and imagine you're stroking a long beard. This builds chi. Again, it will start a little slow and then you'll find your rhythm. One more. What do we do with all of this chi? We gather it up. We pack it down right at collarbone. Do your empty fist and draw it into lower dantian. Store it there. We're going to do this 3 times. Good. I'm going to work on, I just have to look at my time. It's time. So I'm going to close with Gather the Day. This is a beautiful one. Rise up, hands together, start at the crown of your head. Slowly open your palms. Go as slow as you can down the back of your head, around the neck. Bring your palms together. Rotate your hands to your adrenals. Soothe them. Go all the way down. Cross over. Hand over hand. And close your form. So thank you for letting me demonstrate. One of my cautions is your body's nice and warm. So do the Steph Curry. Take your scarves. Keep yourself nice and warm while your muscles cool down. Any questions, concerns, or issues?
That was great.
That was
Love it.
lovely.
So can you tell, share everybody when you teach the class so we can all
I've
join
been
you?
teaching it since March at 3:30 every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And it's that repetition that really helps to anchor it in. The rules for my class are come when you want, leave when you wish.
So you do teach right before this class too, right?
Yes.
So if you guys are free at 3 o'clock.
Well, I start 3:30.
3:30. Oh, okay.
Thursday, I do a whole half hour of just massage.
Okay.
Someone was asking about sinuses.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, this one where you put a finger at either side of your nostril and press in and do circles, good for sinuses. So we do a whole 15 minutes of massage.
That's great. Great. So we can all join you guys.
Anyone's
I'll
welcome.
join you on Thursday or every other days. And somebody say, how can we sign up? So if you're interested in email Jill, yes?
Or you can just look on our website. It's
okay.
Every day there's a live link.
Perfect.
Very easy. So thank you for letting me share. And thank you, Akiyo, for your amazing knowledge.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? What is the website? It's sfsenior.org.
Org. Yes.
Yeah.
sfsenior.org. Then you go into the
Online
schedule.
program.
To be clear, the Thursday class starts at 3 o'clock, but all the other days of the week, they start at 3:30.
An unsolicited goose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
And this is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
So we could it's everything's connecting. I love it. Thank you, Jill.
You're very welcome.
Great, great. So go to Jill's class. So next week we're going to talk more about moving and movement and meridians. Yes. So any questions? Ask me. We now know about not to eat too many spinach and tofu dishes.
No, no more. Thank you. I stand
All right,
corrected.
thank you. See you next
Thank you.
week.
Thank you.
Thank you.